right, ladies and gentlemen, sit back. The show's about to begin. All right, here we go, folks. Let's get started. What's up, everybody? My name is Cardone. Here we go. Wow, we got people in here already. We got 15 people watching. Thank you, everybody. I've been waiting pretty much my whole life to do the show you're about to see, and I'm not kidding you. I'm very excited. It's been a lot of work, but welcome to Behind the Devil's Curtain, Episode 1, The Forbidden Knowledge of the Tarot. And we're going to have a blast tonight. So if you've got tarot cards, get them out, get them ready. We're going to learn some really interesting things. If you're a tarot card reader, I promise you've probably never seen some of this stuff. And if you know nothing about the art of tarot, I'm going to tell you right now that I think you're about to have your mind opened up to a lot of new things about this art form. Shout out here. I see Alexander. What's up, brother? Luke's watching. I got William Nemeth. I mean, there's all these people in here. Nixter, a funeral pyre. Who else is in here? Oh, Don Slater. All these people. Thank you for coming tonight, folks. I got notes tonight because I got a lot of material to cover. I just want to say, if you're enjoying these things that I'm doing, the best thing you can do is subscribe. You hit that subscribe button, it triggers my algorithm, and I'm getting close to that 1,000 number. To get to 1,000 viewers, if you've ever tried to do it, really hard to do. They have these weird roadblocks set up, so it's kind of tricky to get the algorithm triggered. But if you hit that subscribe button, you're in. I mean, it starts to go. So thank you. And if also you want to do the donate thing, my God, it really helps. Every dime that you give, even if it's like peanuts, goes into this whole setup that I have. And shout out LJ Lalonde. He gave $25. You're going on the list, man. There's a list. Thank you, Mr. LJ Lalonde. That means a lot. Thank you. Let's see, what else? Yeah, folks. I have a lot of material to cover tonight. For those of you that are like, what the heck is going on? Well, the name of the show is Behind the Devil's Curtain. And what is that? Well, sleight of hand, forbidden knowledge, and the art of real magic. And when I say real magic, I actually mean real magic. And if you're wondering what the heck I mean by that, sit tight, you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot of people hear a magician talk about real magic, and they don't get that, especially if there's magicians watching. If anybody has questions, requests, things like that, I will answer them. So this is interactive, please. It helps me when you are, participating. Sound quality, video quality, I'm learning this all. So if anybody has like, hey, your mic sounds off, let me know. And my tech guy's here too tonight, so we'll work it out. Yeah. So what the mystery of the tarot, right? Let's start. Before we get to the tarot, I got to tell you a little bit about who I am and how I got here and why I'm talking about the tarot. So it all starts with me as a little kid in the library, and I discovered this book. I'm always whipping this book out and showing people. This book changed my life. I was kindergarten, first grade. It was either the end of kindergarten or first grade. And this is not the original copy I checked out of the library, but it is a copy that I got as a present pretty soon. Here, we'll put it down here. Pretty soon, I'm going to put it on the hand cam. After being obsessed with this book, my dad got me a copy, and there's the little, to my number one buddy and son. And I still have this book, and I still read it, and I love it. It's on eBay. You can find them on eBay. And get the old edition. It's got stuff that's not in the newer editions. It's got one trick they cut out. So this opened my head. It has the word spooky and has the word tricks in it. And at an early age, I was definitely obsessed with all things spooky. Scary monsters. I like monster magazines. I like monster movies. I like ghost stories. I like Bigfoot. So here I am, a little kid, finding this book, reading magic. At the same time as this is going on, something peculiar is happening. Now, I mentioned I'm going to push some boundaries here with some ideas, um, but I'll tell you right now, at an early age, I grew up in a very Catholic family, American Catholic family, and I remember pretty young thinking, wow, if I was born in India, I'd probably be a Hindu. And then I thought, well, if I'm born in Japan, if I'm born in Japan and the family's conservative, right, then you're Shinto. If they're not, you're going to be a Buddhist and a Shinto. If you're born in the South, I might have more of a chance at being a Baptist, right? So as a kid, I'm thinking, wow, that's what dictates what I'm going to actually believe as a reality. And those guys have a different belief that's a reality. So as soon as I started asking questions about this stuff, I was quickly told that that's not a good idea to ask those questions. And that's when the red flag went off. And that's when I started digging deeper and deeper and reading and reading. And in my magical education, I discovered this book called Street Magic. And that is Jeff Sheridan on the cover, for anybody that wants to know. This book is not about technically just street magic, even though it's called that. It's called Street Magic because it's about where magic started and how it was developed outdoors. And in this, it has I don't know how long this chapter is. It's not that long. But the origins of what magic is and where it comes from. And that's what opened my mind. I'm going to put this down here. I saw some things that were in this book that was a magic trick book about historical magic that literally did something to my head. And we'll get to that in just a second. So, back to me understanding how the world works with the religion thing, right? I'm just looking at there's all these religions. And so I'm thinking, and I think Christopher Hitchens once said, either they're all correct, either they're all wrong, or either one's right and all the other ones are wrong. As a kid, I literally thought the same thing. I was like, wow, who's right and who's wrong and what? And then I went with the default, which is they're all wrong. I mean, it was very like, I couldn't pick one and then just go for it. It was like, they all contradict and, right? Oh, I bumped the mic. So what do? I just go to the library and start reading more. And so I gravitate to world religion, occult, the black magic, the weird stuff, the stuff I was told was bad as a child, to stay away from. Yeah, let me move this mic. I keep knocking into it. I flail my hands when I talk. It's the Italian thing. So I'll get to the questions in a second. So here I am reading occult books, and I was a fiend. I read every book I could get. I read all of these occult books, and I kind of figured out, too, that the difference was they still had a theistic principle involved, a lot of the occult stuff, where there's like a god or an angel or a demon or some sort of supernatural thing affecting through prayer or some sort of ritual. You can get them to do things. What I did realize is that the dogma was kind of like you could pick and choose at this point. So if you went the occult route, you're like, well, I can just make up the rules that I want to follow. And so this is what I was doing. I was reading all of these crazy occult books and religion books. I read pretty much at an early age. I started reading the Bible like in detail, the Old Testament being the Jewish part, the Torah. I also read the Bhagavad Gita. I've read the Quran. I've even read the Book of Mormon. I've read them all. I'm reading magic trick books, religion history, occult knowledge, and I start to see some weird similarities and coincidences and things that blow my mind. I started finding in historical stories magic tricks. And now we get to street magic. All right, so there's a story in here. It talks about, there's a Bible story where Moses has a wizard battle with the Pharaoh's chief wizard. And it talks about they both have a stick, a magic wand of sorts, and they throw it down on the ground, and the magic wand turns into a snake. And then the other one turns into a snake. And then the snakes battle, and Moses beats the other wizard. As a child, I was told that some of the Bible stories are true and some of them are allegories of things. And, I was told that certain things were true and certain things weren't. So I thought, well, that's weird. Why, then, why does Moses do a magic trick? And it is a magic trick. This is one of the things that's in here. It talks about, there's a trick. It's a type of a desert asp, a snake, that when you squeeze the heck out of its head, here's a magic one that I made. I use this when I dungeon master. When you squeeze the snake, it becomes stiff like a rod. And you can point and use this snake as a pointer and then eventually throw it on the ground and it crawls away. This is a historic old-fashioned magic trick. Why would this be in there? Okay, let's go a little farther now. In my ventriloquism studies, this is going to blow your mind, I discovered that in the Old Testament, in the Jewish part, there's a description of a person called an Ob. And I'll spell it. In English, it would be O-B-H. I don't know how to write the Hebrew. And the story, this is where it gets wild. King Saul goes to hang out with the witch of Endor. And I know Endor, like Ewok style. And so it says in Hebrew that she was an Ob. It describes her as an Ob. Now, what the heck is an Ob? We'll get to that. When they translated it from Hebrew to Greek, which is the first thing they did to these texts, they didn't call it an Ob. They called it a belly prophet. Why would they call it a belly prophet? Because they knew what an Ob was, and that's what they called them. Belly prophet. English got it and said, all right, that doesn't sound so cool. Let's make it poetic. It says that this person is someone who hath a familiar spirit. Someone who has a little ghost with them. A familiar, like a witch has a cat. So it went from Ob to belly prophet to someone who hath a familiar spirit. Well, guess what? You know what a belly prophet is? Venter loqui. Venter, the belly, loqui, to speak. Ventriloquy. These are the original ventriloquists. It says, and it even says in the Old Testament, that she bends to the earth and the voice whispereth from the ground. It kind of describes the sound. You went to them, paid money, and the earth would speak. Or they would lay on the ground and the ghosts would speak out of their bellies. So here we have these like religious doctrines, and I can go on and on of all the different things like this scattered throughout history that became part of legend, but are actually based in a reality, a real reality. Now, where would this be today? So I'm studying these things, I'm finding them, then I start seeing them in modern society. Okay? Here's one. We've all seen children at karate school, 5-year-olds breaking boards, right? Have you ever tried to break one of those boards? I hate to tell you, they're pretty easy to break. Now, why do they do that? I'll tell you why. They do this because it's a confidence builder. It builds confidence. Another one would be the holy men in India. They do stunts like piercing themselves with needles and things that hurt, and they use their control to not feel the pain. But then the same guy will do a magic trick. What? So you're telling me the shaman, the holy man in the street, the witch doctor mixes in magic tricks. And now we get to the birth of magic. And then it leads right over here to these tarot cards. Listen, so magic as we know it, as an art form, as a, hey, look at my thumb come off, right? Or my finger, or any finger for that matter. It came from the same source. It came from the shaman. The ancient shaman of the village, the medicine man, the storyteller. That guy came up with magic tricks. Why? Because like everything else, he had to. It probably saved his life or found him a lucky mate. Or, I mean, the list goes on and on. So imagine the shaman does a rain dance, and it doesn't rain because it's a drought, and it doesn't rain, and it doesn't rain, and it doesn't rain, and he's praying, and he's doing his thing, and the village is like, yo, You're the guy in the village that talks to the supernatural and understands it better than anybody. Where's the rain? And he goes, no, no, I got it, I got it. Eventually, he's got to overcompensate. He's got to show them he has power. He has to teach them, hey, I really am connected. And he starts to come up with magic tricks. And if you follow history, the guy that believed in real magic used tricks to supplement it. And yes, there were people that didn't believe it and used tricks. There were people that definitely believed in it and still used tricks. And there were people that believed in it and probably didn't use many tricks. But I would say most of them figured out they had to. They had to do the convincers. You know, they had to add them in. And I've got a great story about a modern version of that I will tell in a second. So taking all of that in, which is a lot, that's who I am and how I got here today. That is all part of my knowledge and how I evolved into a magician and who I am as a human being. I've taken all of these things and put them all together into one nugget. And that is what, and we get to Reverend Campbell's question about real magic. To me, real magic is this. So we have magicians, and then we have the people that do real magic, we'll say. The witchcraft and the wizards and the shaman of sorts. And the magician types usually laugh at the real stuff. They're like that's stupid, man. There's no such thing as real magic. It's all fake. And then you have the shaman guy who looks at that guy and goes, no, you're wrong. Because you're doing fake magic and we're doing the real stuff. You have no idea. And honestly, from where I'm coming from, they're both kind of wrong. Because when you put the two together, it all starts to work. It's all in the framing of it all. And so that's how I got here, and that's my story of what I think real magic is. And I'm going to show you, if you watch this show, a little bit. If you pay attention, you will learn little things that you might never have noticed before that if you pay attention, I think you'll really like. I think it's these things help us in our daily lives. I think they help us in how we communicate and how we get things and how we ask for things and do things. It just becomes part of your existence. And what does that mean? Well, symbolism, metaphor, ritual, all adds up to things that can cause change. Internal change, which can cause external change. And if you understand symbolism and metaphor and ritual, you can cause change by design and how you plant ideas and things out. Anybody know a modern example of that? Advertising, TV. We'll get to that question in a second. People wonder, like, why are you telling everybody this? Well, I'm telling you, because I think you'll find it fascinating. It'll be a new way to look at everything. You know, it's a new way of processing what the word magic really means. And on top of it, you're getting all day bombarded. If you're on your phone, if you watch the news, if you watch television, if you watch commercials, those guys understand the same thing shaman understood. They figured it out. They're like, we know how to do this. We know which images trigger which chemicals and how to ask things. Yes, Nixter. Someone named Nixter is asking a question. He's got his hand raised. Boom, ask the question. I'll answer it. Wow, there's so much here. It's unbelievable. So, oh no, he didn't ask. Oh, Nixter followed. Thank you, Nixter. All right, so check this out. Please ask questions, because, dude, I could talk about certain things. Certain elements of this are entire episodes, so I have to be careful. I picked tarot for one reason alone, to be the first one here, because it incorporates all of these ideas into a simple thing that a lot of people know about. A lot of you have a tarot deck at home and don't use it, or it was given to you as a present. So that's why I'm starting with the tarot. It's very simple. My relationship with tarot does go back to... Oh. Oh yeah, there's a certain group in here. Ave Satanis group. Cool. Thanks for coming. Um, I started my journey here. I'll put it down here so you can see. With tarot at a pretty early age, and I'll show you what it is. I had these cards. They were in my grandmother's basement. I was talking about this the other night. Yes, I would call myself a magician, 100%. These cards were in my Nana's basement. They were in, if you went down, they had like cabinets with like soup cans and tomatoes. And these were in there. And I saw them and I said, wow, what are these? And I brought them up and showed my Nana, and she yelled at me and said, she said, put those back. Those are bad. She was like scared that I had them out. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I went and I put them away. These, I'll show you. They're this kind of fortune-telling card. They're not tarot. They're literally just fortune-telling cards. And I actually really like them. I think they're really cool. And the directions were in here. So I put them away. And I was weirded out by why she thought they were evil. And why didn't she throw them out? Just throw them out. So as I got a little older and a little more curious, I took the cards, and here they are. I still have them today. I think they're I looked it up the other night. They're from 1940. They're a 1940s pack of cards. I believe it's from Whitman Games, which was a game company. And this is what got me started. As I got a little older, of course, I found the classic Rider-Waite cards right here. We all know these. And I just want to go into a little bit of the history. Most people don't know this, but tarot cards were actually just a card game. Again, it fits my formula. It starts off as a reality and does its evolution. So it was purely a card game. And Northern Italy, Tarocchi, I believe what it was called, and it was like bridge. The difference was the cards were more like the deck we have, but they had some extra stuff. Like they had a Pope card and an Emperor card and the Death card mixed in with the Trump cards, and it was like a bridge game. That evolved. It went to France, and then people started doing things with those. I believe the first deck, that they call it the oldest deck in print or whatever, it's the Marseille deck. That deck, the cups, the wands, the pentacles or coins, the cards themselves didn't have any pictures on them. It would just have like 4 wands or 4 swords, just like this would be a 7 of diamonds. Not until later did they start making the cards for fortune telling, and instead of the wand card or the pentacle card just having the picture of the wands, they started mixing in imagery with an allegorical story of sorts to the card. And I'll click on the hand cam here. Like this here, like that's the 2 of wands. And you can see there's an emotion and an energy in there. The page of swords, here's one, this is good. The 2 of cups. You know, I can show that to anybody. Ah, yes. Someone's talking about the Lenormand deck, which is very different. Oh, here we go. Yes. Someone's bringing up Pamela Coleman Smith. Yeah, I was just going to get to that. Dude, she is the one that did all of this. She's the one that created all this art. So the Rider-Waite Smith deck, which is what this one is here, that's the one that came out, I believe, I wrote it down, 1908, I think. Yeah, 1909, that one came out. And they toned down the Christian imagery a bit. Instead of the Pope card, it's now the Hierophant card. And they added tons of imagery. So, there it is. We all know this deck. And I do like these cards. So I started just learning the meanings and doing the cards. I just learned. I would just, look in the book and do it. With not much success, which I'll get to in a second. I'll explain where my success came from in card reading. I personally like to read for myself. I like to read for my friends. And occasionally, I do get hired to do readings at parties. I don't do that as much because they usually book me as a magician. So when my agents call me, they're booking me as a magician, and they got 50 tarot card readers to pick from. they want me to do that. Occasionally, I will do the tarot reading. It's not easy. Doing tarot for 3 hours or 2 hours nonstop to a line of people, tricky. And I'll talk about that tonight. Cool. Oh my God, we got 25 viewers. Thank you, everybody. Remember, hit that subscription button and the notification bell. And if you donate, it all goes right here. And let me tell you, the show that you're watching, there's been a lot of research done, and I'm going to be doing more research on these things. So the more this channel goes, not only am I going to be doing more research on other subjects, I'm going to take requests on what you guys want me to go into and what experiments you want to see happen on this show. What's going to happen. And there's also field trips planned, and we'll get to that a little later on. All right. So I told you about how I got here, a little history of the tarot, and how I came to start reading these cards. And I never mixed it in with my magic show necessarily. I just kind of did it as a thing at an early age. And that's how I got here. And now I'm going to have a sip of orange juice. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts personally on what tarot is and how I use it, and my little personal secrets on how it all comes together. Any questions? Fire away. Let me get my orange juice. I like orange juice on ice recently. It's been my... Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday night. It's a rainy day here at the beach, Rockaway Beach, NYC. And I've been home all day getting ready for this. So I hope you're enjoying it. Here we go, folks. First of all, what are you using tarot for? Whenever you're doing this stuff, you got to figure out what the plan is. Like, are you just doing it for your friends? Or do you want to do it professionally? Or are you doing it for yourself? A lot of people use the tarot just for themselves. I love this. So if you read the comments, we have somebody in here who knows a lot about the details of the tarot cards and their history. Sean! Cheers, brother. I think Sean's in Tokyo right now. For you, it's Ohio gozaimasu. It's morning. Over here, it's evening. Yeah, so here's my thoughts on tarot. This is my system. This is what I do. I'll pretend like you're getting a reading from me now. This is what I say to people. Let's say you sit down and we don't know each other, and we're going to do a reading. I just say to them, I go, oh, hey, what's up? My name's Adam Cardone. I meet them, and I go, yo, what do you think of this tarot stuff? Do you think it's real? Or and if they say, I think it's a bunch of BS, my response is, yeah, I agree. Okay? It's the first thing I say. If they say, no, I think it's real, I've had readings and it's real, I say, yes, it is real, and I'm going to explain why right now. At this point, they both hear the same answer. So, because they're both right. Like, yes, the guy that believes that they work, yeah, I'll explain why they work. And the guy that thinks it's a bunch of baloney, I explain to him, yeah, it is kind of baloney. But, and here's the but. If I have to get somebody to enjoy the experience of a tarot card reading who normally wouldn't like these things, this is all I say. I go, all right, here we go. Let's say you have a problem, any problem. It could be a work problem, a relationship problem, a family problem. If you're thinking about this problem and you want to come up with some solutions, well, we're going to look at a bunch of random symbols, okay? Lots of them in these cards. And those symbols are going to unlock things, and you, if you're like in the right vibe, in the right state of mind, you will be able to see your problem in a new way, and because of that, it's going to unlock some solutions. And it will show you, if you follow these things, here's the possible outcomes. And then, this is the weird part, I ask them, I go, well, first of all, on the note of symbolism, I'll say, you know the book on tarot, like this? This book is so old, look, the pages have all come out. Everybody knows this book. This is the weight book on the Smith deck. I say, look, see the book? You know the symbols and the meaning? I threw it out. I don't need it. I don't use it. And if they go, what? I go, well, here's the thing. Symbolism's not universal. I don't know who thought that was a case. I would say some symbols are more universal, but they're definitely not universal. For instance, the death card. In Judeo-Christian thought and in Eastern thought, very different. The devil card. The devil's a big one. Prior to monotheism, the devil was just one of the many gods, and he had positive attributes, and there was no devil. All the gods had some negative attributes, and they were all important, right? So depending on where you're from, different symbolism. The dragon in Asia has a very different symbolic meaning than a dragon in Europe. You know, the European one is well, someone's rebinding books. Someone said they could rebind it. Interesting. That might be a good idea, because this is one of the oldest books I've had this. So, yeah, like all of these things, the symbols aren't universal. So now the guy sitting in the chair is like, wow, okay, this is not what I thought. So I've already done something that they didn't expect. Most card readings I've ever had from a fortune teller, you know, they whip them out and they ask you a couple questions and they just tell you what it means. This is different. This one's, I want to work with the person. So now that they're in the state of mind, okay, and that's the key to this whole thing. This is what magic tricks do. This is the same thing I teach when I'm doing a magic trick. I have to literally, oh, somebody just says, I pray to Crom, but the answer, but he never answered, he never came, oh, okay, that's funny. Crom is cool, I like Crom. So now that you need to get the person watching in the right state of mind. Same with the magic trick. When I tell people, how do you fool people with the magic trick? Well, they got to trust you first for you to fool them. If they don't trust you, fooling them is 200 times harder. They're watching now. If you walk out on stage and go, I'm going to fool you with a magic trick because I'm good and you suck. Dude, game over. Now they're like watching and like, I mean, they want you to fail. But if you make friends with these guys and you explain to them, look, this isn't a big deal. It's going to be fun. And you're going to do it with me. Dude, now you're both on the same page. They're calm. They're relaxed. And now your subconscious can start flowing. So, yeah, I wrote down here, get them in the zone. And I wrote down the word ritual. Now, I was talking to a good friend of mine who I believe is watching tonight, Rick Sherman, who's out there. He is also a magician who's an occultist. He loves occult stuff, and we do talk about it a lot. And he was saying, we were talking about, like, you know, the card readers, that they do a tarot reading, and they, you know, you can't, the deck has to be given to you. You have to keep it wrapped in silk. You can only do this on the full moon, and he's like, they will hate how you teach tarot cards. But I agree with them. It's just for different reasons, which is what I'm trying to show you right now. I think that's good. There should be ritual that you use and a reverence to these cards. The difference between me and that person, the witch doctor that likes to treat the cards in such a manner, is I don't take it literally, but I do take it literally that the more respect I have for those cards, the more ritual and symbolism I use, it creates the atmosphere. It's the baseline for where we can grow. It creates an energy, an emotion, and it makes them relaxed, you know? It's like when I do magic, it's the same thing. I need their mind to be in a certain place for this to work, especially tarot, because the trick part is not the same, which we'll get to in a second. You know, it's like I have my own versions of dogmas that I follow with how I do tarot cards and magic tricks, let's say. I have rules I follow. And I like making my own and sticking to them. There's an old saying, an outlaw saying. It's like, the outlaw, he doesn't keep the laws that you make, but he does keep the laws that he makes on his own. I always thought that was a cool little analogy. Like, you know, you make your... Rick Sherman just wrote, people want to be fooled by a gentleman. And he quoted it, it's Vernon. Very famous magician, Di Vernon. Very true. So once I have them in the state of mind, and I explain to them my thoughts on symbolism and how we're going to do this together, we're going to look at random nonsense and make it a puzzle of sorts, and we're going to unlock things, right? I let them shuffle the cards. I go, boom, shuffle, however you want. What's funny is this is how I do magic. I let the audience shuffle a lot. Most magicians don't let anybody shuffle the cards. They're either using a trick deck, a deck in a special order, or they don't want them to fall on the floor, which does happen. I don't like that. They have to hold the cards. They have to feel them. It's like they're there, here. So I give them the tarot cards, and I'm like, look, even if you can't shuffle, just mix them up however you want, and think about what we want to do with them. What's your problem that you have right now? Just think about it and shuffle. All right, now, while the invisible person here is shuffling, I'm going to tell you a story. I have a good friend. Yes, I'm wearing clogs. I get made fun of for wearing clogs all the time. I have a good friend who's a tarot card reader. And that person believes tarot cards, they're guided by some invisible force from the spirit world. And they know that I don't believe in that stuff, but I still believe the cards work. So I said to the person, the card reader who does it, you know, like a professional card reader, I said, I got something to ask you. How would you like to be able to predict the last card? The last one. So that when you're doing your reading, you can kind of, with them, guess and get really close or right on the money of the final card of the stack. And it's a random card. It really is a random card. It's literally just random. You're not putting it in there. But you're able to know what it is before they do. Now my question is, did that person who believes that they're guided by the spirit world, did they say, absolutely, I'd love to know that? Or did they say, no way, man, I do it for real. Get out of here. What do you think they would ask? I'm curious of what people say here. So now I'm going to shuffle the cards. And I'm going to talk about shuffling tarot decks in a second, because they are long. While I ask that question, what did they ask? I'm curious if you type in some answers. Did they say, A will be, yes, I want to learn your secret to know the end, or B, no way, I'm the real deal. So this is the shuffle here. If you go to Asia, you'll see this shuffle, which is really good. Oops, not that good. For tarot cards, I'll do it this way. It's like a long way. And I'm going to talk about this shuffle in a little bit. In magic, we call it the Hindu shuffle, even though everybody in Asia does this. That is the Hindu shuffle. Anybody know? I think no one, either that or there's a terrible delay here. I'm going to tell you the answer right now. The answer is the person who believes in tarot as a supernatural channel. They looked me in the eye and they went, absolutely, I want to know how to do that because it'll make them trust me. Luke said no. Yeah, they said yes, I want to know. They were like, they're going to trust me even better. When I heard the person say that, I was like, I was right. This book was right. There it is. It's a survival. She realized at that moment that if she could just seal the deal with a little bit of BS, it made the legit stuff mean more. That's it. That's all I had to see. I was like, wow, that's exactly what I thought. It's a survival technique. When in survival mode, you will go to the easiest, best solution. It's like water trying to find the crack in the ground. It goes, oh, over there. It just goes. So she thought, hey, you know what? It would be like, imagine going to karate school and the little kids are breaking boards and they go, everybody, just so you know, these boards are easy to break. Why would you do that? It's actually defeating the point of having boards that are cut so they're easy to crack. It would be like going to a pro wrestling match and they go, ladies and gentlemen, the match you're about to see is choreographed. Which is funny because if you go to a lot of mentalism shows, they have a disclaimer that it's not real. Okay. Even though people still believe it's real, it's funny. They have to like put on their badge of, I'm going to teach you that it's all fake. I always thought, it's all one ball. So I wanted to tell that story because it leads into this. And I'm going to talk about how you can learn the last card. We'll get to that. So then the reading begins. And it's time to do the reading. And I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, it depends on how long I want the reading to go, how informal the reading is, if I'm in a job where there's 50 people that want to get... It all depends. I do not use the classic spread with the cross and the thing. I don't do any of that. When I was a kid, I played with it, and I thought that and reversed meanings, because if you look in the tarot book, you know, the moon card means one thing, but the reverse means another. I didn't need it. I don't need that. I didn't need any of the extra. It made it easier to make it more ambiguous, actually, to me, when you have a million meanings and a million ways to lay it out. So I went with 3 card readings. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Past, present, future. The past card represents your past views of the problem. The present card is what is at stake right now. And the future, that card is where it all leads. That's mostly how I would do this. And as for symbols go and the meanings of the cards, you can memorize the meanings, go right ahead, but you don't have to. You really don't. If you have a good deck of tarot cards, the expression, the emotion, the symbolism, it speaks for itself. And that's why there are good decks for reading and there are bad decks for reading. Boom! Reverend Campbell. Perception is 9 out of 10 of reality. What is real and what we want to be real, using that understanding is magic. Dude, that's a great definition right there. That is, right there it is. That's a really nice description of it. And it's funny because I've read lots of books and essays on what this means, and I just kind of learned it by being in it, you know, as a magician and as doing cards, and it all just kind of unfolded itself to me in this manner. The other way I can do a reading is a 5-card reading, a little longer, a little more detail. A lot of times I do a 1-card reading. You do 1 card and you just go through all the symbolisms and what it means. And then another way to do a reading, and I do this at the end sometimes, I'll do a 3-card spread. We'll talk about it, you know, we'll go through what it means, what it could mean, what they think it means. I'm listening to the person. I'm asking them questions, and I'm getting them to interpret it as much as they can and stepping in when they're lost, which a lot of times they are, and they need help. Once they get jazzed, they start to do it. You can sit back and be like, look, you're channeling these things, right? I was going to say something, and so then one way to do it is you do the 3 cards, you chat about it, and then you do this. And here, I'm going to turn the camera on now to my hand cam. Because look, let's say these are the cards. Now, I'm going to show you now. These are my favorite cards in the world. They're called the Cosmic Deck. It's funny because I don't really care for the back. I could care less. It's the pictures on the front. I don't know how available these are. But these cards have so much symbolism and emotion in them. And I want to show you some of the ones. The Death card's kind of the Tower. Let's get to the juicy ones. Ooh, here, 9 of Swords. Look at that guy. So you can show somebody that card, and they can identify with the vibe. You know? Look at this one. God, 2 people standing. They're not facing each other. The light's dark. It's a sword card. I basically tell, oh my God, my mother jumped in. Mama, what's up? That's wild. She figured out how to use YouTube. I love it. So, Mom, you bought me these cards. 1988, 89. I've had them ever since. They're very expressive. Here, look at the Magician card. Now, one of the things about this deck of cards that I like, not that cam, here, hand cam, is some of the cards look like celebrities. And they gotta be on purpose, but it makes people think they're familiar. Here, let me find one that really looks like, this one looks like Johnny Depp a little bit. I like it because they look familiar to people. They'll go, wait, that kind of looks like a person I know. Like her, she looks familiar. Oh, here, look at the Devil card. The Devil card scares people, but this one's not scary. It's kind of whimsical, and if you look at the people that are chained at the bottom, they look like they're partying. It's kind of not a dark card at all. The Judgment card, look at this one. God. I love the symbolism here. So here's what I was going to show you. So imagine I'm doing a 3-card reading. We've come to the conclusion. here's your problem with work. Let's say the judgment card was the past. Judgment. What does that mean? Well, it means someone's really, imposing this judgment on you or on your job or your work. And it's clearly in here, it looks kind of terrifying. There's like, they're coming out of these rocks and there's a horn blowing by their head, right? So we use that to get to the present card, get to the past card, or the future card. And then at the very end, I do this little thing where I do this. So let's say they had a reading that was, I don't know, here we go. This guy here, let's say that's the past. Let's say that's the present, and the future is the Emperor. So this is, I would say, is a very positive progression, I'm not going to interpret this right now. I'm just going to let you look at them. Because look, you got this dude laying down with the swords very precisely in a very specific manner. This card here definitely has some romance involved. And this is the Emperor. He's the boss. So let's say we have a very good reading. At the end, I will do this. I call it a card flurry. I start to just flip them and turn them over. And I go, look, we're going to look at all of these as fast as possible. And you'll see patterns. And if any of the cards pop out to you, just say stop. And basically, it's a way to get them to maybe expand upon the reading. Some new idea will pop in at the last second. It's kind of fun and theatrical, and you go through them really quick. And then at the end, sometimes it depends on the reading. Sometimes I'll write some stuff down and give it to them. So like for further use, they can go home and do their own research. Somebody missed the first part. Well, it's going to be on here, and you can go back and watch the rerun. So that's how that's my basic reading. There's no frills. Now let's talk about the secret stuff. And I wanted to just give you that. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what I would do. I try to get them to find patterns in cards. If there's lots of cups, it means something. If there's lots of swords. And I describe all of them as... I use the pentacles, the pentagrams. To me, I just tell them let's think of it as coins or money or finances. Swords are man-made. It's a man-made thing. It's steel. It's something we created. Whereas a wand or wooden sticks, they're organic. And the cup, I come from a Taoist point of view of a cup represents, it's empty and it can be filled. It can be filled with knowledge. It can be filled with garbage. So I make these things really. Oh, someone's going into the secret stuff. So what are the ethics and what are the thoughts of knowing what the last card is? Some people think it's unethical to do that. It's funny, the people that think that's unethical, I can find other things that are pretty much the same thing that they would think is ethical. Like, for instance, why at a karate school don't they tell everybody how easy it is to break some of those boards? Wouldn't that be ethical? Here's a good story. Before I get to the secret stuff, because I know you want to hear it. Also, too, please, click the subscribe button, folks. It helps me so much you have no idea. The donations help, but the subscribe one really does help. And so does the notification. I worked in a magic shop. I've worked in many magic shops. And I was working in one. And the protocol was people would come in. They would ask to see certain types of tricks. I do them. And then they pay for it. And then they come back. And I teach them what I know about that trick. I'm trying to make them good so they don't go out and ruin the trick. This magician right here, who I'm actually good friends with, I haven't seen him in a while. He moved to Germany. Jeff Sheridan, we need you back here. He told me, I was working at a magic shop, he goes, you're in control of what everybody learns and knows. Be careful. He's also the guy that told me not to hang out with magicians. Smart man. I'm working in a magic shop, and here's what I see. I see a guy walking in dressed in a really nice suit, and he had cool glasses and a cool haircut. He looked like a Chinese gangster from a movie, one of those Hong Kong movies. And he had 2 blonde girls with him. 2 blonde chicks and this guy. And they kind of walked in, and he was like, yo, and I'm showing him tricks. I'm like, oh, he likes magic. And the girls that were with him, they didn't know anything about magic, but they seemed to like him and what he was doing. So they were watching him, and he bought tricks. I wrote it out. He went and paid for them. While he was paying for them, the two girls leaned up, and they were like, that guy does real magic. I was like, what? They're like, he does real magic. He, using his chi power, he can, and then they rattled off a list of tricks. I was like, all the Qigong magic tricks. Breaking a pencil with a dollar, making a piece of paper catch on fire with your bare hands, making burning heat come out of your hand. All of the Qigong tricks, I can explain them. They're, yeah. I'm listening to them like, okay, that's in that book, that trick's in that book, that one, I don't, it's not in a book, but I know what it is. And I'm thinking, so my thought was, do I tell them or do I just leave it go? And the answer is, let it go. The guy was so confident in his ability as a wizard that he brought these two girls with him into a magic shop. He didn't care, right? It didn't matter. So they bought the stuff and he went off. He was probably a Qigong master. Yeah. He's like some sort of Kung Fu Qigong guy. I was like, wow, that was amazing. Again, it fits my narrative. It's the same thing. So here's the secret. How do you predict the last card? You can force them. You can make them pick the last card, the one you want. But I don't like that. I want it to be random. I do think there is a power to random. It's kind of like embracing chaos. You're like, it's chaos, and I'm going to make something out of it. So what I do is I have them shuffle, and this is an idea that came from a good friend of mine who's one of the greatest magicians of the world, Jeff McBride. If you're out there watching, mad respect, brother. He's one of the greatest magicians alive, or who ever lived. Sleight of hand guy, stage performer, master teacher, and guess what? That guy, he likes ritual, symbolism, mythology. He gets it. He's in the zone. He had this idea, and it's a way of knowing the last card. And it's also a way of having three cards chosen in a peculiar fashion. And I'm going to show you right now. So let's just say they shuffle the cards, right? All I have to know, oh God, I can't shuffle today. All I need to know for this to work is I need to know what the top card is after they're done shuffling. Okay? So watch. I'm going to flip the hand cam. And so what I do is after they shuffle, I go, look. I put them on the table, and I spread them, and I go, ladies and gentlemen, these are random. This is nonsense. This is just random images and everything. And as I'm doing it, all I need to see, I don't even need to see that it's the Ten of Cups. As long as I see it's cups and there's a bunch of them, or there's a woman, that's all I'm done. Look, there's cups that are spilling over. I know what it is, right? So then I go, all right, look, you shuffle these. They're in a random fashion. And I say, we're going to first do your past. So take the cards and just cut a little bit off. Not a lot, just a little bit. Lift them and flip it over. Oh my God, the devil. That's pretty funny. So now, using that, I'll say, okay, so whatever problem you're having, and if I use this card as the reading, I'll go, the devil could mean many things to different people. It could mean a certain attachment to certain things, certain people, certain materialistic things. It could also be a freedom card, a breakaway from certain ideologies. It can mean lots of things. So I use that as a reference to their past. Now, I tell them, I say, all right, now we're going to go deeper. We're going to go all the way to the present. Cut deeper. And you go all the way down here, deeper, 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 and now flip it over. Ooh, gosh, we're getting heavy ones. Judgment. All right. This is the hammer's going to fall. In the present, right now, the hammer has fallen. So whatever problem you're having, it's now, right now, the moment to fix it. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to make a decision that's going to hurt you, right? Okay. Now, the future. Where does this lead? Well, I will try to get them to figure out where it's going. Now I know right now it's a cup. It's a high cup. The cup's they're overflowing. There's a woman on the picture. It's got a feminine energy, let's say. I do like to notice if cards are more masculine or feminine because it does give it a different slant. And this deck has cards that are, you can't tell if it's a man or a woman, which I like. It's great. It's like in the middle. It's like it could be either or. It's very androgynous. I say, look, the future is unknown. Really, it has to do with what you decide right now or what you don't decide right now. So I want you to guess what it might be. Thinking of the devil and then a judgment, what is the end result? Where do you see it go? And I actually just listen right here. A lot of them go pretty, they'll guess stuff that's pretty close. If not, I'll go, you know what I'm seeing? I think you're about to make a good decision. And I think you're going to see the rewards. You're going to see the rewards in such a manner that you're going to have so much you're not going to know what to do with. And I think you're going to, the final card might be a wand, but I'm going to go with a cup. Just because a cup is such a useful thing that you can fill it with things, and you, if you make the right decisions, are about to fill it with the good stuff. You know, and I'll go on it. And then I'll say, all right, here we go. What do you think? And I try to get them to go into this direction of some sort. And then, here, I'll click down to my hand now. Then, here's what you do. You go, all right, the unknown card. You spread them out. And you can do this before all of this banter. You can take it. It's the first face down card. That's the future for you. And after all this chat, I go, look, let's see. Oh, wow. Holy moly. And there it is. I'll go, and I'll point out, I go, look, you really are bountiful here. Look, the cups are overflowing. And now I've just sealed the deal. They got a real reading. I gave them a convincer. I gave them something to remember. And if you're a businessman doing tarot readings, let's say you have a line of people. I was talking to my buddy today about this. All they care about is how accurate you are. When they leave if you're at a party doing this, people say to the person, was he accurate? That's what they'll ask. They're not going to ask the details of the reading. That's all they ask. So now they're going to be like, he really was. And now you've created a persona of a sort that's going to be successful. Once people trust you, this game is easy. If they don't trust you, it's an uphill battle. So what's the goal? Gain their trust. If someone figures out that you're using nefarious means to predict the last card, I've never had that happen. But you know what I would do? I would be honest. I'd say, yeah, I knew what it was. I'm a magician. But it really was a random card, and I really do think it's real. That's what I would do. Secret stuff. That thing that I did, if you want to look it up, is called the Balducci force. Balducci. B-A-L-D-U-C-H-I. Balducci. Or we say cut deeper force. So you cut the cards, flip them, cut even deeper, flip them, and then spread them, and the final card is, which was the top card. I like that because you get the 3 cards, and they really are random, and so is the last card. There is a way to put the card you want at the end, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of the gypsy-style fortune tellers will purposely give you bad cards so that you have to keep coming back to them for more advice. Again, that's a business decision. They're trying to pull you in. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier. On the note of real magic, I tell everybody to study car commercials. Because car commercials are different than a McDonald's commercial or most commercials. Like if you see a McDonald's commercial or something, they're designed for you to be like, oh, I want that now, and you go get it. Car commercial, they know you ain't gonna go buy a car tomorrow. I mean, you might, but they pretty much know. So all they're doing, they're using these techniques so that they stay and they fester and they grow, and the symbolism and the energy. They're selling a lifestyle with the car and a vibe. And so when it's time, you're like, that's my vibe, right? That's why I study car commercials. I'm going to show you some other things that you can do with these that are kind of cool. for instance, let's say you want to force this. Another way to get that top card forced, and we'll just keep that card there, the 10 of cups, is after they shuffled, let's say that's the card. I taught this in my magic lecture. It's called the cross-cut force. You just say, hey, cut the cards. And then you mark the cut. Okay, let's mark it. After they mark the cut, you talk a bit. You go, all right, and we mark the cut. It's random. You shuffled them. That card, let's say you're doing just a one-card reading. Whatever that card is, I want you to think about your problem. I want you to think about what it could be. And here it is. Look. Maybe I could predict it's going to be a cup. Might be a high number. I don't like getting it exact. I like getting it close, which I'll talk about in my mentalism lecture. But then you pick this up and you go, all right, look at the card you cut at, and yeah, it's the force card. The secret is it's on the top of the deck. And when they cut the cards, you mark it like that. The secret to this one is you need away from time. You have to get away from those so they don't remember which pile's which. And that's where you talk about what you're about to do. If you're doing a card trick, you tell them what the trick's going to be. I had a dream. I wrote it down. I'm predicting it. And then I'll click back. I pick it up like this, and I gesture. And I go, all right, look at that card. And there it is. It's the force card. Another way to force a card here, and I use this when I'm doing, I've done a few jobs where I have to do like lots of one-card readings, and this is great. I'll have them think of a problem, or whatever the question is, and I'll have them shuffle, okay? And then I take the cards, and let's say, here, I'll literally, this is a real shuffle, just so you know. And I really don't know the order of the cards right now. Okay. Random deck. I then do this. I'll close my eyes and I'll say, all right, I'm going to keep cutting the cards and you say stop. Okay? Oh, beer commercials, others. Lifestyle marketing. Yeah, that guy's right. Alexander. So look, close my eyes, say stop. Let's just say they say stop. And there it is. I don't know which way it's oriented. It's the devil card, I believe. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's called the Hindu force. If you're a magician, you should know this. If you're not a magician, I'm going to show you now. Now, I don't like this for like magic tricks because when I have people pick a card, I just say pick a card. A lot of magicians use this. Oh, look, the star. Here, we'll do here. Okay, there's the star. So the force card is the bottom card. And now, if you do that Hindu shuffle, notice the bottom card stays. I'll do it again. So here's how the Hindu force, there's the 7 of Wands. So if you hold these in a dealer position in your left hand, you got to take my magic class for this. If you take the cards now in this position, this is my right hand. Is this called biddle grip? Yes. I believe it's called biddle grip for the magicians watching. You take it in this biddle grip and it sticks out long ways. And now you're taking the top cards off into dealer's grip again. See? I'm taking them off the top and adding them. Meanwhile, this is still the bottom of the deck. And eventually, if they say stop, you just flash that card. Right? Here's the star. Say stop. Oh, God. The reason why I'm dropping them is I'm looking at another camera. It's so hard to do. And stop, and there it is, the star. And that is called Hindu forcing. So how I think this is good is if the person picking the card is not right beside you. They're like on the other side of the table. Because it gives you a reason to do, here. Let's say I'm shuffling these. I'm going to try to force the, oh look, here's the card I was looking for. Tell me who this looks like. Anybody? Looks like a very famous Scientologist to me. End grip. Rick Sherman says it's called, end grip. Oh, yeah, biddle grip's this way. Right, that's the biddle trick. Correct. It's funny how some of these terms are blurred in my brain. Yeah, the biddle grip would be this, end grip is that. Right. So watch, this is how I think it's good. You hold the deck like this, I close my eyes. Anytime I'm having people pick cards, I close my eyes and turn my head. Why? Because it plants an image in their mind, which I could do a whole show on that, which we'll get to. So watch, I Hindu shuffle, and they say stop, and it gives you a reason to do it in this manner because the guy on the other side of the table can't see, or he's not right there to pick one. And then you could do a quick, looks like Johnny Cash. Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks like Travolta. I swear the artist that did these did it on purpose. They used them as models, which is awesome. I'm glad they don't look exact, because, dude, there's one in here that looks just like, what's his name? James Bond, the original guy. I can't remember actor names anymore. I'll find him. So, Johnny Cash, interesting. Johnny Cash vibes. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe they mixed Johnny Cash and, here. No. There's so many in here where they look so much like somebody. I'm trying to, now I can't even find them. There's one in here that looks like Elizabeth Taylor. I don't know where they are. Anywho. So there's two little Forcey guys. Sean Connery, yeah. And that's a cool trick. Another one would be this. I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh! Charles Bronson. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you something really cool. Last but not least, so this one only uses a few cards. And this one's a little different. This one would be more of almost like after the fact, or if you're hanging out with somebody and you want to do a little extra something. It would be this. Watch this. I think you'll like this. So here's a bunch of cards, and I'm going to show. There's Charles Bronson, some sort of Johnny Depp guy, right? Ooh, look at this. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, usually Ten of Swords, and this one to me is very accurate of the emotion behind this. So here's a bunch of cards representing lots of different things. Oh, here you go. A couple people sparring it off. All right, so how the game works is you take these and you go, she loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not, she loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not. You know this whole saying, this whole style of choosing. And look, I got Johnny Depp. And then you do a reading on that card, right? So here, let me mix them up a bit. All right. And then you give them to them, and you go, all right, here we go, ready? 1, and down. Or she loves me, and she loves me not. Or I'm keeping it, I'm getting rid of it. I'm keeping it, I'm getting rid of it. And you get them to do this all the way through down to the last card. And lo and behold, the last card is the one you want them to discover that they did not see earlier. It could be the lovers, it could be the devil. It depends on what you're trying to do, what the story you're trying to tell is, right? It's a really fun way, and I'll teach the method. It's very simple. You'll be able to do this tonight. I'll teach you 2 parts to it. One is the card. Let's say I like this devil guy, so we'll use him. The card, you put it third from the top in a stack of 9. And then, from what I heard, the Hummer principle, correct. We have a great magician who knows the technical terms of all these. The Hummer principle is used, and it's self-working. You just do it. You do she loves me not, or I'm keeping, and it literally gives you the last card. How do you show them all at the beginning? I'll show you right now. It's very easy. This is a very basic move. The trick that it was sold as Night Out with the Ladies. And it was pictures of women, naked ladies. And the last one was a funny one. It was, and from what I heard today from a friend of mine, Tony Curtis put that trick out, the actor. Yeah, he was a magician. I knew he was into magic a little bit. I didn't know he put tricks out, even though I have that trick. It's crazy. I never thought it was actually that Tony Curtis. So here's how you do that. So let's say you want to do let's do a different one now. Oh, let's do the world. Let's just say you want to do this to somebody and brighten their day and make them happy. So you take the world card and you put it face down. And I want to make sure they're all oriented correct. And then you take these and you put them like this. And you hold them in a dealer's grip position. So look, you got that guy there. They don't know about him. And they know about these. And if you want, you can hold this like this. And, you know, you can do that. So then you go like that. Like that. Right? And now it looks like they're going to get to see every single card in the deck. Okay? And now you do it as a magician. And you will get a random card. And I got the Four of Swords, which is great. This is kind of an apathetic card. This is dudes hanging out. They're just kind of chilling, right? So then, to get it to work, you have to go 1, 2. You got to get 2 cards and get them on the bottom. And that's it. Now it's third from the top. See? World. Which means you give it to them after you shuffle 2 to the bottom. You go, here, you do it. 1, 2, 1. And then, as they're doing this, the anticipation's building. And, my God, you have the world at your fingertips. So you can use this in a very uplifting manner. You know? You can really brighten someone's day with something like that. Or darken it, if you're that guy. Which you can. One word about the Death card and the Devil card. Whenever those cards come up, people really do, like, no one likes getting those cards. And I quickly blow the steam off of it and go, look. And I tell them the whole idea of symbolism. Like, look, the Devil card might be scary to you, but to a lot of people, it ain't scary. Why? Because they mastered their own demons. Right? So don't be afraid. Same with Death. It's like, look, I got some news for you. I'm going and so are you. It's normal. So you don't have to think of it as literally someone dying, but you can think of it as an idea dying or your job is going to be over, right? Do you recommend a specific deck for a beginner? That is a very good question. I will be honest with you. I do think some tarot decks aren't very good. I had the Aleister Crowley deck in mint condition, and I didn't like it. I don't like those cards. The minor cards don't have any images on them. You need pictures on the cards. My recommendation is go look at the decks available, and I'll give you one right now. If you like the dark stuff, so I use the Cosmic Tarot, the one that we've been using here all night. I do like the Rider-Waite. I do like, and here I'm going to go to hand cam again. I love these. I think these are pretty cool. They're old school. They have an old-fashioned energy, and the pictures are pretty darn. They're pretty expressive. You know, the art. I do like them. I don't use them very often. I barely use them, but I do like these and use these all the time. This is called the Dark Grimoire, and I'm going to do some close-ups here. It's basically an H.P. Lovecraft themed deck, and these cards are disturbing and dark. They have a really dark image. Let's find some good ones with really subtle, weird stuff in them. And I do like them a lot. Here, let's find some of the more famous cards. Like here's the Tower. I just really like some of the subtle little monster-y weirdos. Lots of tentacles, lots of, goats with eyes on their foreheads, lots of surreal stuff. I really like cards that have images that I can get the audience to groove on. And you should groove on them too, because if you don't like them, no one's going to like them. You have to like them. Yeah, I think Rider Waite is the one. If you're a beginner, I would say go with that one first. Just, it's the easiest one to access. It's everywhere. It's very popular. People know the cards. The Devil card in that one is a little spooky, and so is the Death card. But that's okay. If you explain it, and sometimes if I think the person might be the type that really bugs out on the darker stuff, I tell them, like, look, if the Devil or the Death card comes up, don't bug out. The meaning of that is very, like, we can use it for, it's a very open meaning. Like, again, symbolism is not universal. And that's how I handle that kind of stuff. So yeah, I do think you need cards that have lots of really good art. I have a friend, this one here is called the Divine Will. I know the guy that put these out. Look at these. They're really large, and they have really wild symbolism on them. Let's see. What's a good one here? Wow. Look at this Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. If you can find this deck, I think he's doing another one. Wow. Here you go. Here's the Star. His interpretations of some of these are great. They do have little symbols all over them. They're a wide format, so they are a little harder to shuffle. These are great. Here, you want to see a deck of cards that just came out. I showed these on my news show the other day. This is going to blow your mind. I'll put the box here. No. Hand cam. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Yes. There are definitely... Oh, does he sleep? He just said a lot of people sleep with their cards. I'll talk about that. I mentioned earlier how there are people that have very specific ways of treating them, and I'll talk about it. So look at these. The guy took all the legends of Vlad the Impaler and found the allegorical meaning and assigned it to a card. And some of them are just historical characters. Dude, they're really well done. He had new woodcuts designed that match the old style. And if you're a card person, these are really, really well made. I was trying this the other night. I think I can Pharaoh shuffle these and do a giant fan. They're like really good card stock. Let me try to Pharaoh shuffle these. Yeah, there we go. Dude, check this out. Ooh, oh, no. God, look how big these are. My God. Look at the size. Yeah. So, there you go. I mean, there's literally... Oh, here you go. Here's Vlad's second wife. She made it to a card. Queen of Cups. Or Queen of Coins. So, there's endless tarot cards. When I was a little kid, there was maybe 10 different decks you could get. Maybe 20. Now there are thousands. Thousands. Handmade, hand-painted, cartoon decks. Rick and Morty tarot cards. I just made that up. Maybe there is. I'm sure someone did a Simpsons deck or another famous cartoon. Everything you can think of, you can find in the cards. I think the light and fluffy ones aren't as exciting. I think the ones that are a little bit dark and spooky unlock stuff, which is one of my things about of taboo nature. They kind of if something's a little dark or mysterious, for some reason more people are drawn to it, and a little bit of fear behind it might unlock some things. I do not sleep with my tarot cards. I do keep them in special spots and in nice little bags. I think that doing that kind of stuff does help because it makes you treat them in a nice manner. So I don't disagree with the idea of it at all. I have a couple more things I want to talk about. Any questions here? Fire away. Oh, yeah. This is something my buddy pointed out today. Rick Sherman said, make sure you recap. Now, in Magic, we have recapping. It's right before the grand finale. You kind of want to recap what happened to set up the ba-boom at the end. You know, it's like you're getting ready and there it is. And the recap helps build the momentum theatrically for the climax. And I do think with tarot cards you can do that. You know, at the end you go, all right, here we go. We got your past, you got your present. Here's what the future might be, or here's what it is, and you recap the symbols and things so that they have the memory to take away. And I'm going to end on what I think is the main secret of all of this. The ancient shaman who invented all of these things, and they were the ones that started studying the weather and human behavior and how people react to certain things. They realized that the human mind, the ego, embellishes. It just does. Why? Well, if I told you I went to the best circus in the world, it was amazing and it blew my mind, you will never experience it. Never. So what do I do to make you experience it? I jazz it. I exaggerate a little bit. I show you how exciting I felt, right? And the magicians, the shaman realized that memory is what they leave with from whatever they're going with, and the memory of the experience, not only do they embellish on it, but the shaman can dictate what that memory is. He can say things and do things differently than what happened to dictate how they're going to process it and leave. And that's where the real magic happens. That's where they start to change what happened. I've done magic trick. When I was young, I remember doing a magic trick and then immediately hearing one person describe it and being like, I didn't do that. That's way better than any trick I've ever done. And that's another thing that proved my point about where this all comes from and where religion and mythology all kind of came out of. Like right there it was. You know, like our memories, we embellish and we add and we fluff it. And the shaman said, you know what, I can use that to my advantage. And so to me, whatever art you do, whether you're a painter, a musician, a magician, a tarot reader, we have to know this. That the moment isn't really what matters. It's what happens after. It's the memory of it. And what can we do to solidify that experience and make it exactly what we want? And that's through the recap, through your ritual of candles, incense, the fact that you sleep with the cards. All of that adds to this thing, this magic. Let's call it magic because it's a thing. And that's what they take with them, and that's what they embellish upon. And that's what they add to. So I'm a fan of simple magic tricks that allow for embellishment. All the while, I'm setting chips that they're going to take with them and add to that. Things that never happened maybe, but I'm planting the seeds. That's real magic. And on that note, I thank everybody here who came out tonight. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and then I got some stuff here I want to talk about. Favorite parts about being a card reader, William said. And William, you've been a great supporter here. Thank you so much for joining in on these and participating and all this stuff. Thank you. My favorite part is I get to meet people. That's it. I'm a people person. I like meeting people. I like sharing stories. I like learning about them. I like learning new things. And so being a magician or a card reader or a performer, I really like meeting people and sharing. And now that we do all these things online more than we did before, it's more sharing. That's all. And I look forward to meeting a lot of you in person one day. Yeah. Any questions, fire away. Now, here's what I have to say. Reverend Campbell, thank you so much for your input and your insight and your wisdom on running internet shows. And I want to mention a couple things. First of all, again, if you're watching this, there's been about 25 people in here all night. Thank you so much. 25 is a big number, especially for a small channel. And I've been consistently getting that, and my YouTube subscribers are going up. Thank you so much. Also, there's a donate button. It's in the description, and it's on the header of my page. There's a little donate button. Anybody that wants to donate, dude, if you donate 25, you get on the list. Yeah, thank you. And please subscribe, hit that notification. It really makes my algorithm go off the charts and it means a lot. Now, coming soon to this channel right now, pay attention. You're going to love this. I do have a couple Boardgasm episodes coming up. One's on the Rambo board game and the other's on the new Night of the Living Dead board game, which comes any minute now. It looks great. As for Behind the Devil's Curtain, my God, I have so many awesome episodes planned. This was my first one. I wanted to start on a simple note of something people can identify with. Vlad, the Vlad cards. Hold on. I need my reading glasses here for this one. Oh, Bloodstone Studios. On Instagram too. Bloodstone Studios. They have he came with a book. Get the book. The book that came with those Dracula cards has crazy stuff in it, and he's now doing a Hieronymus Bosch deck. Yes, like it. Yeah, I'll be getting that. Here's what I have planned. In 2 weeks, there's going to be another one of these episodes on the Devil's Night, the 30th of October. It's going to be a special event. It's going to be a special Halloween show, and in that, I'm going to be doing a piece of my actual spook show. The subject of that one is the Dime Museum. And in the Dime Museum, I'm going to show you some crazy stuff. And I'm going to tell you stories. And I'm going to tell you the story about when I went to Transylvania. And it's hard to believe, but it's all true. It'll be here live on October 30th, right here. William says, you mentioned field trips, and we could suggest some things. Oh, yes. Yeah, I want ideas. Throw them out. I have some really nutso field trip. Yes. Yes, there's an email, and you can also message me on Instagram, Cardone Magic. I post a lot on my Instagram. I post all my shows, all my live shows, and it's a really fun page, Cardone Magic. So, yeah, you can suggest. Oh my God. Sean just donated $50. You are on the list twice. I love you. Thank you so much. It really does. It's all going in this show. Trust me. And as for field trips go, wait till you hear some of the crazy stuff I have coming up that I'm planning. And I mean real field trips. I mean traveling far away. You're going to love it. So that's coming. Halloween episode of Behind the Devil's Curtain, October 30th, 8 p.m. And I think I'm going to have a live studio audience with us, too. It'll be a live studio audience and TV audience, people. I got an episode coming up on puppetry and the occult. I have so many things I can't wait to show you. It's been a dream of mine to combine a lot of these disciplines and philosophies and theatrical things all in one type of program where it all kind of comes together, and that's what this is. And it really is a joy, and for me to do this, it's a lot of work. I'm going to be honest. This show you're watching now has been weeks worth of work getting it ready, and I mean weeks, 3 weeks. I'm going to be honest. I've had the roughest month personally that I've had in a very long time. But through that and through my philosophy of how I am, I've channeled it into something good and something positive, and that's where we're at right now. I wish I was doing YouTube a long time ago. Like, I just was late to the game. I was doing lots of Instagram and Facebook stuff, but I didn't realize I should have been on here doing it too. Well, I'm here, and I've got the craziest stuff planned for you. It's fun for me. I hope you guys are having a blast too. Thank you. Somebody else just throwing, somebody else I think just tip too. Like, thank you everybody. This is great. It really means a lot to me. What else? That's it. I've got so many fun things planned, and this has been an awesome show. Anybody that has feedback, send it to me. I'm learning how all this stuff. When I go like this, it's because there's lights everywhere and computer screens. I'm learning how to do this, and it's been a joy. So, my name is Adam Cardone, aka Reverend Cardone, and this has been episode 1 of Behind the Devil's Curtain. And I thank all of the supporters. I thank my Golf Wang Productions, who's been my tech. He's also my son. And I thank everybody here, all the people writing comments. So, folks, I'm going to give you the end credits, and I've had a blast. What a fun Friday, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye. Have a good one. Hey, what's up? If you like board games, miniatures, and the smell of paint and glue, you are in the right place. Welcome to Boardgasm.